In the silence before belief is born, there is always a question that shakes the soul. What proof is enough? What sign can silence? Downward moment forces the heart to surrender. The story begins there, in that space between certainty and denial, where the miracles of blessings be upon him stand not as myths, not as legends, but as living truths witnessed by eyes, heard by ears, and preserved in memory. He was protected from corruption, preserved in character, and elevated in conduct long before prophethood. When revelation came, the world shifted, because the greatest miracle had begun. The Quran was revealed not as poetry, not as philosophy, but as a living speech that challenged minds, transformed societies, and reshaped history. It addressed belief, law, morality, science, past nations' future. Accountability and the unseen with unmatched precision. Those who mastered language were stunned by its structure. Those who sought wisdom were humbled by its depth, and those who opposed it were unable to imitate even its shortest chapter. The people of Makkah demanded physical signs. Despite witnessing the miracle of the Quran, they wanted something that could be seen, touched, measured, so Allah granted a sign that shattered the night sky. Some said it was illusion, others accused sorcery, yet travelers arriving later confirmed the same sight, proving that truth does not bend to denial. This moment became a defining conflict between arrogance and surrender, between those who seek truth and those who fear losing control. Water flowing from the blessed hands of RasoolAllah, blessings be upon him, was another sign witnessed during moments of extreme need. When companions were thirsty, water poured forth, sufficient for entire groups to drink and perform purification. This was not a staged event nor hidden miracle. It occurred in daylight among many witnesses, reminding humanity that provision is not bound to material means, but to divine will. Hunger, too, was relieved when small amounts of food multiplied, feeding crowds until satisfied. Each of these moments reinforced reliance upon Allah and strengthened the bond of faith in the hearts of believers. Creation itself recognized him. Animals responded to his presence and voice. A camel approached him crying, seeking justice. Trees moved from their place at his call and returned by Allah's permission. A tree trunk used for sermons cried audibly when separated from him, until he comforted it. These events were witnessed and narrated not to romanticize nature, but to demonstrate that all creation submits to divine command, even when humans hesitate. Healing occurred through his supplication, not through claim of independent power. The blind regained sight, wounds healed, pain eased by Allah's permission. Each healing reinforced humility and servitude, showing that miracles were not tools of ego but signs of mercy. Compassion flowed through these moments, strengthening believers and confronting skeptics with undeniable truth. The night journey and ascension marked a peak in miraculous experience. In one night, RasoolAllah, blessings be upon him, traveled from Makkah to Jerusalem, then ascended beyond the heavens, witnessing realities unseen, meeting prophets, and receiving commandments. This event tested faith like no other, separating sincerity from hesitation. Yet this miracle was not meant to shock, but to honor, reassure, and elevate, showing that divine power transcends physical limitation and human perception. As these miracles unfolded, RasoolAllah, blessings be upon him, continued to face hardship, rejection, and loss. Miracles did not remove struggle but fortified patience. Firm, his compassion never faded. This contrast between divine support and human hardship revealed the true purpose of miracles: not comfort, but confirmation; not escape, but endurance. Midway through this journey, reflect upon these truths. If these signs are awakening something within you, remain engaged. Support this message. Subscribe, like, comment, and help spread knowledge so heart-seeking truth may find it. In moments of battle, divine assistance manifested. Angels were sent to support believers when odds were overwhelming. Victory came not through numbers but through faith, discipline, and obedience. These events resolved the conflict between material strength and spiritual reliance, teaching that success is granted, not seized. Beyond supernatural signs, his character stood as the greatest miracle. Patience and hardship, forgiveness and victory, humility and authority, kindness and power. His transformation of society from tribal violence to moral accountability reshaped history permanently. This living miracle continues through his teachings, practices, and legacy. Another dimension of the miracles of RasoolAllah, blessings be upon him, was how knowledge of the unseen was revealed through him, not as guesswork but as precise truths. Events that would unfold in the future were described with clarity and later witnessed exactly as foretold. Victories, defeats, migrations, trials, and the spread of Islam beyond Arabia were all spoken of when circumstances made them seem impossible. These revelations strengthened believers during hardship and exposed the limits of human planning, showing that divine knowledge alone encompasses what is past, what is present, and what is yet to come. This created a powerful internal conflict for those who heard these words, whether to trust divine promise or surrender to fear and doubt. There were also moments when nature itself altered its behavior in response to him. Rain fell after sincere supplication, droughts ended, winds calmed, and fear was replaced with tranquility. These moments were not isolated spectacles, but reminders that control belongs only to Allah, and that RasoolAllah, blessings be upon him, was a servant whose prayers were answered. Men and women who once buried daughters alive, abandoned oppression, and embraced accountability. This internal revolution resolved the deepest conflict of humanity, the struggle between ego and submission, between desire and discipline, proving that true miracles reshape the soul before they reshape the world. Signs were not granted, teaching that faith is not forced nor purchased by spectacle. As these layers of miracles, physical, spiritual, moral, and intellectual, come together, they form a complete picture. Every miracle resolves into one conclusion: that belief is a choice supported by signs, but completed by sincerity. And the journey continues for anyone willing to listen, reflect, and respond. There were also moments when the miracles of RasoolAllah, blessings be upon him, exposed the fragility of false power. Kings, chiefs, and leaders who believed authority, wealth, and armies made them untouchable, stood helpless before divine signs. Hearts that relied on status crumbled when confronted with truth, while the poor, the weak, and the overlooked found strength, dignity, and purpose. Finally, the continuity of these miracles lives on, not as distant memories, but as living guidance. Every teaching preserved, every practice followed, every heart changed today is an extension of those original signs. The miracle is not frozen in time, it breathes through belief, action, and transformation. The story remains unfinished for each listener because the final response lies within the heart, whether to turn away as many once did or to step forward, carrying the legacy of truth, mercy, and accountability into the present moment. Every miracle carried purpose, every sign pointed toward Allah, accountability, and guidance. They were not meant to replace faith, but to reinforce it. If this journey strengthened your understanding, then remain with it. Subscribe, like, comment, and continue exploring these eternal truths together.